I've tested a lot of HDMI switchers on this channel. Most of them have claimed to be 4K, but in all reality, they're 4K 30 Hz, which is pretty lame. This one from CSRET claims to be 4K 60 Hz. Is it actually? Well, there's only one way to find out, by testing this thing out on a gaming computer. Let's see if it works at 4K 60 Hz.
Hiding in the bungalow, she felt so young. The night she was much younger than the other.
Let's go ahead and start off with the unboxing experience of this HDMI switcher. You get the HDMI switcher, big shocker there. You also get a remote, so cool. And whoa, you get a power adapter. Oh my gosh. Which, by the way, the cord is kind of short. I really would wish it would have been maybe a foot or two longer, CSRET. But, and also it will block off some of the ports next to it, as you may be able to see in some B-roll footage I'll put on the screen. It'll block off some ports next to it, so that's kind of lame as well. CSRET designed the plug just a little bit better, so it doesn't do that. So physically speaking, this thing is pretty ballin'. First off, it looks pretty great, at least in my opinion. It's all black, and it has a little piece of, like, I guess, reflective metal on the top, so that's kind of cool. It looks really nice. And once you turn it on, it has blue LEDs, which look pretty good. Maybe not the best, but they look pretty good. And I mean, it's really nice. It has 4 HDMI ports on the back, one of which that goes to the TV, 4 of which that are from devices that'll go into this device. You have another HDMI port on the, I guess you'd call the right side of the device, and on the left side of the device you have the DC power in, so it looks pretty good. And then of course in the front you have the switch button, and you have a USB port on there as well, which I'll mention a little bit later in this review. Before I really get into this review, let's go ahead and just tell you guys what the difference between a switcher, which is what this product is, compared to a splitter, because they're pretty similar products, but they do a very different thing. So a splitter, which is not this product, is basically one input and multiple outputs. So you would do this if, like, I don't know, if you're running like a Best Buy store or something like that, you know, like a pawn shop maybe, that you just have like a DVD player and you want to run like a bunch of TVs and stuff like that, you'd probably get a really big splitter to split that single to a bunch of different devices. This device basically does the opposite, and it's probably more for consumer uses, because a lot of people don't have like a wall of 10 TVs to power. So you have multiple devices going into this box. You have maybe your PS4 Pro, which supports 4K 60 Hz, by the way, which we'll see if it works in this. DVD player, Blu-ray player, cable box, stuff like that. Anything that uses HDMI, up to HDMI 2.0. And then you got the output that goes to TV, and you can switch between the inputs on the fly using that remote or the switch button on the front of here. So that's what this product does. If you need that, then keep watching this review. So let's continue to talk about the design of this thing, because I have one little gripe of it. One weird thing about this device is it has 5 HDMI in and 1 HDMI out, which is great, but why is the 5th HDMI in on the side of the device? And also, why is the power in on the other side of the device? It just really doesn't make a lot of sense. CSRET, if I was making this device and actually designing it and everything, I would just make it a little bit like wider on either side, honestly, so that the HDMI port and the power could also be on the back, which would make cable management just so much easier, and it would make the device look a lot better. I don't really think it's a big deal to have the device smaller. I think the cable management honestly makes more of a difference, at least in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But would it look better if all the cables were coming out the back, or if you had some coming out the sides? What do you guys think? I would want the cables coming out the back to make everything look a lot better. I guess also, speaking of cable management, it'd be cool if this thing mounted like on some sort of wall. Not a big deal, because I wasn't going to do this myself, but it doesn't have any mounting other than the Made in China sticker, so that's cool. But I guess you could just get Velcro to mount this somewhere, so that's not a big deal breaker. And as I mentioned earlier, the power cord, a little bit short, and I'm not a crazy big fan about the fact that it goes on the side, and it blocks out the other USB or outlets around it, so CSRET work on that as well. Oh, and another port, which I guess I didn't mention whenever I was talking about that earlier, is USB port on the front. I believe, let's see, it's USB 5 volts, so, you know, shocker there, that's pretty much what every USB charger is. For my phone, it seemed to charge it at a pretty good rate. From what CSRET is marketing this as, they're marketing it kind of like as just a cell phone charger, which you obviously can do, but most likely this is going to be tucked behind some TVs and game consoles and stuff like that, I'm guessing. So it'd be kind of weird if you were charging your phone off this, since it's kind of tucked behind, you know, like an entertainment console or something. I think this is great for if you were going to use like a Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV, and you could plug your the power input right directly to this, which would save a lot of cable management, which would be ballin'. So CSRET, I think you should market it as that because it's definitely capable of doing that since it's charged by phone just fine. It's definitely a very cool addition to this product, especially since this product is a little bit expensive. Kind of makes it worthwhile, at least I think. Using this on my computer that I plugged to my TV, and I used it on this system as well. It didn't really show to have any additional input lag on top of whatever else I was, had plugged in. So that was nice. Nothing noticeable, at least. I'm sure it adds some, everything's going to add some input lag, but it didn't really notice anything that I could notice. I mean, maybe if you're playing CSGO on competitive gaming, maybe you'll notice it then, but I didn't notice anything. All right, I've been keeping this to the last of this review, but does this thing actually run 4K 60 Hertz? As you see, I got a little bit of shell shock footage that I got using my, let's see, I have an RX 480 right now that I had with a display adapter to give it HDMI 2.0. And it worked perfect. It actually worked like totally fine at all. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. My TV has HDMI 2.0. My card using the adapter has HDMI 2.0. And this thing absolutely has HDMI 2.0. It worked perfect. I literally had no issues at all. So CSRET, it actually has HDMI 2.0 and it's actually capable of 4K at 60 Hertz. Props to you guys, because that's really awesome. This is the first one I've seen personally. And I can see this product being very useful for people with, Ultra HD, like if you have like a PS4 Pro, the Xbox One Scorpio, which is coming out later this year, stuff like that. This is going to be really important because if you want a switcher to switch between all your devices and still be able to do 4K, you're going to have to get something like this. So check out the CSRET switcher. It's definitely a very cool product, and it's not cheap, but I would personally say it's definitely worth the price. So thank you guys for watching this review. I think I pretty much covered everything, but if you guys have any questions, leave them down there in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. It's a cool product. It actually works at 4K, 60 Hertz. Big shot. I mean, I was honestly kind of apprehensive. I was like, is it actually going to work? And it worked just fine. I'm really impressed. Good job, CSRET. So thank you, CSRET, for the sample. I really do appreciate that. Of course, this review wasn't biased at all. I actually did test it on my RX 480 using that adapter that I also have another review on to get it an HDMI 2.0 port. It worked perfect, so very cool product. So thank you guys for watching this review. Drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and you guys have a great day. I will see you guys later.